Top 10 wrestling finishers that defy logic. Number 10. Saxtonation. Did you know that current WWE Raw announcer Byron Saxton has a past as a wrestler in NXT? His finisher, the Saxtonation, starts in a Russian leg sweep position and somehow ends up with him landing awkwardly on his ass while the opponent gently hits the back on the mat. Not exactly what we'd call an explosive finisher, and that might be why Byron ended up behind the announcing table. Number 9. On a chair. While Randy's shoulder clearly takes the most damage from the impact with the steel chair, the Viper always gets up before the opponent, who sells the move as he hit headfirst the metal going unconscious. What's up with that? Number 8. Buff Blockbuster. As paradoxical as the previous entry, Buff Bagwell turnbuckle finisher does have an impact and it is fun to watch. But one has to wonder if the author of the move doesn't end up suffering more physical pain than the opponent. Number 7. Mr Socko. Mankind's Mandible Claw was a legitimate finisher, inspired by the mandibular nerve pinch wrestling hold of Sam Shepard. While one could argue the move could be simply neutralized by biting Mankind's fingers, the guy wore a strengthened glove that prevented that. Needless to say, when Mick Foley started using Mr Socko instead of the glove, this finisher started looking more of a silly comedic act than a serious threat. Number 6. People's Elbow. When The Rock hits the People's Elbow after a powerful rock bottom, it can be seen as a bold and mocking act that is totally in character of the most electrifying man in all sports entertainment. The problem arises when the Brahma Bull performs the People's Elbow as a proper finisher, sometimes not even setting it up with a spine buster. It's really weird seeing a match won by a puny-looking default elbow drop. Number 5. The Worm. Scotty 2 Hotty finisher suffers the same problem of the previous entry, with the added annoyance of not having an impactful setup maneuver before hitting the theatrical but powerful as a wet noodle finisher. Number 4. The Cobra. Fan favorite Santino Marella made a career out of his brilliant comedic stunts, but that doesn't make his finisher any less illogical as he ended up winning matches clean with the Cobra. Clearly inspired by Mick Foley Mr Socko, this maneuver is widely considered the epitome of silly finisher, and we still haven't even touched the top 3 positions. Number 3. Yeti Hug. Skipping the fact that this guy looked more like a mummy than a Yeti, his finisher could have some credibility if executed properly, as we think in theory it should have been a reverse bear hug. Too bad that in practice it looks like a huge dog trying to hump his poor owner's leg. Or at least that's what it looks like in the only video proof we could find, the debut match of the Yeti at WCW Halloween Havoc. Not surprisingly, shortly after the Yeti got repackaged with a new, more believable gimmick, the Super Giant Ninja. Seriously? We are starting to think this guy deserves an entire video for himself. Number 2. The Underwear Stealing. Phantasio debuted during Wrestling Challenge in July of 1995, sporting an illusionist gimmick that led him performing various magic tricks during his match. The best of them all? His finisher, of course, consisted in stealing his opponent's underwear before pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. No wonder he disappeared forever from the WWE right after that. Number 1. Joey Ryan Mighty Penis. And when you thought nothing could top Phantasio's underwear stealing, enters Joey Ryan. Getting mainstream coverage for the first time when he executed at Japanese DDT Pro Wrestling event, this unique finisher consists of Joey Ryan penis slamming his opponent. We find it impossible to describe in words this maneuver when applied to a single wrestler. Go figure when Joey Ryan slammed 5 other opponents at once just with the power of his mighty penis. Talking about a dick move.